and welcome to Films on Trial Film Reviews. I'm Gav, and this week I'll be reviewing the 2018 film Mary Queen of Scots. But before we go on, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Films on Trial so you can stay notified on all of our shenanigans. And just to warn you, this review may contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film yet and you want to avoid them, why not check this out at a later date. So, Mary Queen of Scots chronicles the 1569 conflict between Scotland and England as shown through the country's leaders, Mary Queen of Scots and Queen Elizabeth I respectively. It was directed by Josie Rourke and written by Beau Willimon. It stars Saoirse Ronan as Mary, Margot Robbie as Elizabeth, and supporting cast includes Jack Lowden, Joe Alwyn, David Tennant and Guy Pearce. My main issue with this film is the portrayal of the two main characters. See, I went into this film thinking it would be a balls-to-the-wall depiction of both queens as they ruthlessly jostle for control and power, especially after watching the fantastic The Favourite. The main thing that separated both women was their religion, but the plot seemed to focus more on their roles as mothers and lovers. There was far too much time dedicated to Mary's bad romances, and Queen Elizabeth barely featured in it, and when she did, she was either portrayed as a simpering puppet controlled by the dastardly yes-men in her court, or as a brooding wreck. There was enough maternal symbolism drenched throughout the scenes that it felt more like an episode of One Born every minute. I get it, she wants a kid. What about her charisma, determination and mettle that she is famous for? Don't just define her as a pining mother, like a dog longingly looking at an ice cream it can't reach. Don't get me wrong, Margot Robbie did a fantastic job, but she had little to work with. She's portraying one of the most powerful and influential women of all time, but she's barely on screen for most of the film. Saoirse Ronan delivered another powerful performance, but similarly to Robbie, she was hampered by poor character development. There was no real detail of her ascension or of her downfall. One minute she has an unrivaled support, which seems to have appeared from nowhere, and the next minute all of her people hate her. There are some scenes of uprising in which David Tennant's Protestant cleric riles up a small church, but it's not a good representation of a wider Scotland. And then Mary is exiled and forced to leave her baby James behind. Upon landing in England, the two queens meet for the first time in a scene that is similar to that of Michael Mann's Heat, or that of the infinitely better John Woo actioner Face Off. This scene is expertly shot, and the dialogue is so sharp with talk of revolt and treason. But then that's it. In the next scene, she's being led to the guillotine. There's no display of revolt or of treason, of her capture or of her incarceration, nor of her well-documented correspondence with Queen Elizabeth from prison. I imagine a significant amount of time has passed, as now her son James looks at least 30, and at least 10 years older than Mary looks. For some reason, they decided to forego aging makeup. But it's not all doom and gloom from me. I do think there were many excellent parts of this film as well. The costumes were excellent and incredibly realistic. I just kept thinking to myself, this is going to look amazing in 4K. The makeup was also very good, especially Elizabeth's battle with smallpox. See, it's no wonder that this film has been nominated for Oscars in both those fields. The cinematography was also wonderful, and the shots of the roaming hills of Scotland are just beautiful. I was also a big fan of the lighting, as Rourke had opted to use a lot of natural lighting in scenes, which is very impactful. And, of course, the performances were, for the most part, excellent. Ronan was exceptionally good as Mary, but for me, Robbie stole the show. Similar to Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs, although she may have only had a limited amount of screen time, she excels in that time and leaves you wanting more. There were also really good performances from James McArdle as Mary's brother, Jack Lowden as Mary's second husband, and Tennant delivering a fantastic turn as the wide-eyed preacher. However, there were a few odd turns at times. No more so than the frustratingly obvious Guy Pearce, who delivered all of his lines as if he were auditioning for the part of David Attenborough. In conclusion, Mary Queen of Scots is good, but nowhere near as good enough as it should be, especially as it is positioned to compete against Oscar contenders. For me, it's like having the visuals and performances of Game of Thrones, but with a script from an episode of Days of Our Lives. So, what's my verdict? Well, I give this film 3 chocolate frogs out of 5. So, what do you think? Did you agree with the review? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can listen to Films on Trial on any podcasting platform, and why not check us out on Twitter, @FilmTrials. And before I leave you, it's time for some trivia. Both Saoirse Ronan and Margot Robbie competed together in the 2018 Academy Awards for Best Actress for their roles in Lady Bird and I, Tonya respectively. Unfortunately, however, neither have been nominated this time around. But there's always next time. So until then, goodbye.